Hey everybody, it's Boss Braille Radio. I am Griff Hoffmann, and with me is Geoff Brewer.
Hey.
Jamie Sherer.
Hello.
Howdy doody, fellers.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, man, back to that bi-monthly schedule.
Yeah, we're settling in, baby.
Yeah, well, we finally got together in person, and we're so excited we forgot to record a podcast.
Yeah. Well, we thought we were recording, but the whole time...
Oh, I was. The device that shall not be named did record the entire weekend.
It was just a video feed, though, right?
Oh, yeah,
No
the device
audio.
that will not be named is the camera in the toilet. Not the shmishmashma.
Nice.
And you've already sold that that video to the relevant parties.
Yep, yeah.
They have exclusive rights.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you get your money's worth. Creeps.
I'm trying to remember if I gave you your money's worth. Usually, see, here's the problem. Usually when I go on vacation, I have a phenomenon where I don't use the bathroom for a very long time. You guys both know this.
And I'm always in awe.
No,
of...
you did, Jeff. We're good. The audience was satisfied. Those of us in the meat space were not.
If I don't use the bathroom for like 2 days, I'm like bedridden and debilitated.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeff, your body has just a wonderful ability just to roll with the punches.
I feel like that might have been like the best week of my life. Maybe I'm just not made
Scientists
for it.
will never know where exactly the food went.
Dude, Jen is the same way, where it's just like, how is there more in than out?
You don't make no
Wild.
sense. For me, it's the opposite. There's always way more out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
way
yeah.
more.
Yeah. When I was drinking, it was like, there was like an exponential multiplier that lived inside me. That would just be like, oh, hey, what's up? Turn me into
that
triple.
game. You know that mobile game you get ads for where you have to choose the lane to send your soldiers down,
Yep.
and either it like multiplies by 3 or
Yeah.
subtracts 10?
Yeah.
You guys have like the 10x multiplier.
Yeah.
I chose like the -5.
You're still playing the free version of Body, aren't you?
Anyway, this is a podcast about poop.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what happens when you don't podcast for a while. You gotta get it all out.
Okay, no
Yeah, see,
joke.
we're now...
No joke.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was working briefly with a nurse. I'm a doctor. I work in a hospital sometimes. I was working with a nurse who works mostly at a urology and proctology clinic.
Nice.
And she is this wonderful older Jamaican nurse. And she was telling me exactly what she tells men when she's going to do a digital rectal exam on them. And it was amazing. She was like, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to put it in your butt. I'm going to feel, and I'm going to know if your prostate is big. And she's like, I say it once, and then usually they don't really get it. So then I just say it again, and I just keep saying it until it really sinks in what I'm about to do.
10
This
hours
is apropos of
later.
nothing.
It's all about building the anticipation, I say. It's half the fun.
She sees one patient per month.
I'm going to put my finger in your butt.
How long does it take to sink in?
Like, she was saying at least 2 or 3 times, but it's not surprising to me if she doesn't change what she's saying based on someone's
She's
reaction.
finger blasting these people 2 or 3 times?
No, she's prepping. She's laying the setting. She's setting the table 2 or 3 times. She's only going to get in there once. Measure twice, cut once.
Mise en place. That's all I have to say. Mise en ass. Okay.
Well,
we have a podcast about video games to do, guys.
Do we?
No. It's all.
No.
This
All
is
right,
it.
shut it down.
I think this is healthy, right? Every couple of years we got to get the old finger in the butt talk out. There was Jamie. I think you were on a hot.
Oh, we've talked about this
It was
before.
a hot topic for a while there.
We're going to talk about it again.
It's just to keep. You have to add a little variety
It's
to keep
evergreen.
things interesting. Yeah.
It's true. Well, Jeff, you're so desperate to bring us into the realm of video games, I suppose you may as well talk about the finger in the butt of video games. Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Ooh, hey.
No, it would be Neon White if it was, right?
That would probably be Neon White.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm curious what you guys think about Neon White. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I will talk about Xenoblade 3. Okay, so Xenoblade 3
deep
came
breath.
out. It's a deep breath kind of game. A few days ago, I have been playing the heck out of it. It is the most JRPG of all time, and it is so big, and I don't know if it's specifically dumb, kind of, but like maybe a little less dumb than previous Xenoblade games, but it is so huge and complex and loaded with systems. Jamie, have you gotten anywhere in that game?
I'm towards the end of chapter 1, so I've merged 2 characters. I've played as the other team, but I'm not very far.
Okay. Yeah. So the bones of the Xenoblade series is basically, I would say, it's kind of like an offline MMO to a degree.
Oh, totally.
That's kind of how it
Great
started.
dot hack.
Yeah.
Yeah. With
But good.
battles that emphasize, but good, with vast open landscapes to explore, and battles that sort of emphasize positioning and like using different roles, attackers, healers, and defenders.
Mm-hmm.
This game basically this game is kind of billed as a fusion of the first and second games. So what that means in practice is all of the complexities of both of those games just smashed together.
But as someone who really hasn't played either of those games and has played 6 hours of this one, it actually, I feel like, I'd be curious to see what you think, Geoff, as a veteran. But as a newbie, it seems to me like they're doing a pretty good job at rolling out those complexities in a kind of even way. And I don't feel overwhelmed. And if I were to look at the screen now when I'm in a battle, and I were to think back to when I started the game, I'd probably be like, I don't want to play this game. There's too much going on. There's lines everywhere. I don't know what the hell is going on. Why? But they actually, the onboarding is actually pretty seamless.
The onboarding is actually quite seamless. Have you unlocked the fusion arts yet?
Yes, I've done that once or twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the game is like, it does a really good job, honestly, with onboarding you. As Jamie said, it is like so tutorial laden. I'm finally at this point where I have like made it past most of the tutorials. I'm pretty sure there are more to come, but I have a lot of the stuff open at this point and available to me. But like, so it starts out, it's like, okay, each character has 3 arts they can use in battle, and they charge those arts by using auto attacks. Or no, they charge like,
or time.
It starts out, or time, because there's 2 different systems.
Yep.
There's one where your arts charge over time, and there's one where attacks charge your arts, depending on what side.
And arts
are
just special moves.
Yeah, they're like stronger moves that do real damage,
and they're class based. So like your healer is going to have different arts than your tank, than your attacker.
Correct. So your tank is all about drawing aggro to get all the enemies attacking your tank, because your healers and your attackers can't take hits. Yep. Your healers heal the party. Yeah. Mercifully, all the healing seems to be AoE, which is good, because I think if it weren't, it'd be really hard to manage.
Oh, yeah, totally.
In the older games, you could like individually heal people, and that was a freaking mess. But okay, so the healers do their AoE heals, and the attackers are all about like positioning and getting around the enemy and debuffing them. There's also a system going on where you can break, topple, and daze enemies. So like it's like beyond break, topple, and daze, which is basically 3 status effects you inflict one after another. Like topple requires break, daze requires topple. There's also another branch of that, which is break, topple, launch. Have you seen launch yet, Jamie?
No, I'm still getting my head around break, topple, daze.
So break, topple, daze, I don't even know what daze does. It might make you more susceptible to ailments or something.
I think they can't block.
Okay, yeah, it disables the enemy. They're like, they can't move. They're dazed. They just sit there while you wail on them for a while. Then there's launch, which increases damage while they're in the air. But you can also finish with smash. It's very complicated. So that's going on. Then, so you've got these 2 different forces. The premise of the game is that there's like a war going on between 2 nations, and you have characters from both nations. When they all come together, you get a party of 6 different people, which you can switch between at will, plus a 7th guest character, plus all of your people, in addition to their basic 3 arts, get fusion arts, which are arts from other nations that they can use at the same time, or you can combine them into one art. Also, there are giant robots that you can fuse into. Mm-hmm. Also, there are chain attacks. Also, this game is so complicated.
It's amazing how they lay it out, though, because maybe it's just kind of a masterful opening of the game in terms of combat design and level design, because they lay out all of these systems in a fairly piecemeal fashion. Every time they introduce a new thing, I'm always saying to myself, okay, that sounds fun, but it doesn't seem like this game in the normal setting is really forcing me to min-max, so I'll probably ignore that, because that sounds complicated. But then I immediately find myself utilizing whatever they're trying to teach me, which is really kind of cool. Everything from all of those things that Geoff discussed, in addition to things like allowing you control one character at a time. It's an action RPG, right? So you control one character. You're either controlling the attacker, the tank, or the healer, and you can issue tactical commands, just kind of general advice to the other 2 players that you're not controlling at any time. And when they rolled that out, I said, well, I'm not going to mess with that. That's just too much. And then the second they rolled it out, I'm like actually utilizing it because, I actually want everyone to focus on this enemy right now, or I actually want everyone to do this other thing right now. And it's easy and quick to issue those types of commands. And there's also a tutorial system. So if you missed something, you can easily go back in. Like
there are training drills, where you can like practice things.
When they first rolled out the chain, the break topple days thing, I could not remember break topple days. I could not remember that order, so I just kept going back into the tutorials and just doing that tutorial over and over again to get that down pat. And so Jamie, it's kind of remarkable because this, like I said, this type of combat system typically would just turn me right off. But instead, it's really exciting, and I feel like the difficulty is right there, and it seems fun and engaging. Geoff, are you playing on normal or hard?
I'm playing on hard, and hard is pretty hard. I encountered a boss that I needed to fight many times and tweak my strategy quite a bit before I could beat. Because I have... So here's another thing about the game. So it really rewards exploration. And it is a giant world, and you can always kind of dip into areas you're not supposed to be. So one thing I love doing in these games is like going into an area with a bunch of mobs that are really high level and kind of kiting around them, or like dodging them just so I can kind of get in really deep and check stuff out. And if you discover a bunch of locations, then you can get like high level locations. You can get bonus experience, which you can use to level up your characters if you want. So like if I wanted to, I could power level right now and be like 8 levels higher than I am. But I don't want to mess with that. I want to preserve the challenge. So it has been a tough game, and there are so many different things. Like, so when they rolled out the tactics, Jamie, have you gathered your characters yet?
Like bunch them together so that you can do an AoE heal or something?
Yes.
No, I haven't tried that yet.
So I've started doing that. It's like one of these things. It's like, okay, you can press this one button and all your characters will come to you. They'll stop attacking, but it might have utility. And I had the same experience as Jamie where I'm just like, this seems ridiculous. Like, why would I ever do this? Now I'm just like doing that second nature. I'm like, oh, I gotta heal everyone. Let's bring everyone together. And it's like, oh, I got to fuse into my robot for a hot second because one of its attacks does a small AoE heal, and I need to make sure my healers don't die. Like, oh, I got to, like, I don't know, switch my... Oh, there's another element I didn't even mention, which is that all your characters can switch to any other class pretty much at any time.
Oh, whoa. No.
Which is another one where I was just like, this looks horrible, but I'm doing it now, and I'm getting used to it, and there's just so much going on in this game. But I agree with Jamie in that it somehow coaxes you into messing with all of it, in that I feel like I am grokking the systems pretty well.
And then when you're learning all of these things, but it is a JRPG. You are fighting a bunch of low level mobs as you're exploring. And you can just click the minus button on the Switch and just do auto battle, and even that is fun to watch. Like, I'm just, I'll have a baseball game on in the background, and I'll be like collecting some stuff, and I'll just be doing a bunch of auto battles, and that's fun. And Geoff, I'm wondering, is there a point at which they allow you to switch characters mid-battle?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't done that yet.
You'll get that sooner or later.
Okay.
Yeah, but so the world is also just littered with collectibles. This is another funny thing about this game. Literally, there's just a bunch of crap on the ground, and your character just runs over it and like collects it. And sometimes they'll be like, "Whoa, this is really cool!" And it's like puzzle tree wood.
Yeah.
Or like friggin', tasty sausages.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right.
Oh yeah, we're talking.
You'll pick up a radish, and they're like, "This is rare."
Yes. And sometimes you'll just like go to an area that has like 8 things. At one point you go to you essentially you like use a resource to reactivate something, and there's a machine you can use to make items, and you put a little gold in, and then it just spits out like a giant pile of those collectibles.
Oh yeah.
And you can walk over all of them, and they're like, "Oh, super rare. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So good.
How is the story shaping up for you? Because I feel like there's some really cool ideas, and I feel like actually the individual characters are quite compelling. But I also feel like I'm wondering if it's developing at a decent pace. I feel like it's a fairly slow burn of a story. How's it going?
It seems slow burn. I mean, it's impossible to ignore just the weird jank that seems to be present everywhere in this game, like just strange animations that play in cutscenes sometimes, or like voice lines that are delivered with just an extremely awkward cadence.
Oh, Riku! Every line Riku says just delights me, and it's
he is very good. Also, his hair is top tier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it seems interesting. I mean, I've gotten some pretty large moments, I would say, have occurred. And I am at a point in the game where towns are happening. I know there's a town at the very beginning of the game, but then basically your
kind of a cool
like,
town too, with a bigger degree of exploration within the town than I maybe anticipated.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about these games. They are so laden with exploration and like things to do. And Monolith Soft is really good at world design. They actually helped out with Breath of the Wild, and they're kind of Nintendo's go-to like world design team now. So actually exploring the landscapes is really, really fun.
But going back to what you said, something else you said, Geoff, is like the voice lines. It's like, oh my god. So one of your characters, if you fight an easy battle, she says, "You hear that? Noah, Lance wants something a little meatier." And I have heard that line hundreds of times. Hundreds. I've played this game for 5 or 6 hours. I've heard that line hundreds of times. Geoff, you've probably heard that line hundreds, if not thousands of times.
So I played Xenoblade 2 in Japanese for this very reason. For some reason, I'm sticking with the English VO this time around. It is kind of fun that they all speak with British accents or like Welsh accents. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is, the voice lines repeat so much. It's always been a feature of these games. Like, so I remember when I played the first Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii, I was really impressed with the scale on such a weak system. Like, it didn't look great, but it was just a massive game, full of things to do, full of interesting locales and good art design. And then you press the jump button, and your character's like, "What?
Oh,
Mwah!
yeah.
Mwah!
Uni, oh no.
Mwah! Yeah, Uni's jump is so bad.
I thought people were going to... I was playing this game in the hospital yesterday. I thought people were going to think I was watching porn or something.
So it's just... I feel like Xenoblade as a series has always kind of been characterized by these really grand ideas and incredible ambition and scope, married to just some extremely awkward decisions. So I'm kind of used to it. I sort of expect it from the product. But yeah, one of them is just constantly repeated voice lines. In Xenoblade 2, there was a meme that went around because one of the soldiers, when you killed it, would be like, "Don't forget me!" Or maybe it was when he was attacking you, I don't remember. But literally they patched the game to take that voice line out because people were just memeing on it so hard.
Oh, man.
Also, have you messed around with the attack canceling yet, Jamie?
Yeah. Well, they hit that pretty hard, pretty early, in that you should be learning to do this. And I find it interesting that they've chosen to use that word for what you're doing, because it's essentially just you're kind of it's chaining attacks together, right? That's all it is.
Yeah, you're kind of Mario RPGing it, right? Like, so there's like, Griffin, did you play Xenoblade, the original?
I dabbled in both 1 and 2, but
okay. So they've added an element to the combat which kind of makes it feel more engaging. In that, when you're
it's entirely possible I never did a fight though.
That's fair. When you're using arts now, you can like cancel out of your auto attack into an art by pressing a button right when you finish the auto attack, and it goes straight into the art. Like, it plays the animation a little quicker, kind of like sort of like pseudo fighting game, pseudo Mario RPG type mechanics. But this game turns the chaining up to like 11, because not only can you chain from an auto attack into an art, you can chain from an art into a fusion art. You can chain fusion arts together. You can chain fusion arts or auto attacks into talent arts, which I haven't even talked about, which is a whole other thing that charges up as you fight. So like, you can just chain constantly, and it seems like that's going to be... And then when you chain attacks together, it helps build up for your chain attack, which is something totally different. So it's just like there's all these interlocking systems that are connected by this canceling mechanic, which does make the battles feel surprisingly engaging, because there's always like a little reward to get for timing. But it also seems like high level play will demand that you kind of stay on that all the time.
Yeah.
Which is weird and interesting.
But you can get by, right? It sounds like you can over level and you can auto battle and...
Oh yeah, you can't auto battle the bosses, but you can auto battle everything else. Okay. Yeah, if you really want to, this game is not going to lock you out of power leveling. Like I said, I just wandered around because I love exploring in these games because the worlds are always really fun. Mm-hmm. I wandered around in a high level area and I got like thousands and thousands of bonus experience, and I have like 9 levels available to me right now I could take if I wanted to.
I think on the normal setting, what the game is doing is it's making it pretty clear that you can either kind of absent-mindedly stumble through most battles or auto battle through most battles. And you only have to be on your game in the way that Geoff is describing for either a rare, strong enemy in the field, and those are clearly marked, or for a boss. And I'm really liking that because, like I said, it's got that MMO something where you can you can be doing something else. You could even be like cooking or watching a baseball game, and you could just kind of have this on in the background, flick the stick in a direction, get into a battle, and let it autoplay while you do something else. Or, if it's boss time, you really want to be, paying attention, which is cool. I like having that kind of back and forth.
Yeah, it also does a thing which not many modern games do, which is like there's a critical path, right, which is pretty substantial. But at the point I'm at, there have been side quest chains I've gone down, which have like ended in like serious boss fights and like significantly developed a story and added elements to the story and quests within those quests that I never had to touch. Like whole chains that take you away from the main plot, but you can engage with however much you want if you want to be a completionist, that are like surprisingly substantial and, as Lance would say, meaty. But like they're very big, and if you really want to min-max, like there are as Jamie said, there's kind of like rare spawns or like unique mobs wandering the map that you can fight. And they all provide individual challenges, kind of require different strategy tweaks. When you kill them, you get like special fast travel points. They're like have like a little grave appears, so it's like kind of substantial when you fight them. Mm-hmm. There's just so much stuff going on in this game, and you can sort of engage to whatever level you want. For me, I'm choosing to kind of engage pretty heavily and try to get all the side content because I want to mess with that, and the reward's usually pretty good. But like, yeah, it is either a completionist paradise or normal human beings muddle through somehow.
Geoff, I was going to say, speaking of modern games, like I do really appreciate that this seems to be a trend that's happening more and more lately. Of like, there's just so much layered into what one might like on a high level say, oh, that seems unnecessary to engage with this, but that's like seems to be what is kind of defining the modern game's difficulty and investment, is like do you want to master and get the S ranking and push yourself in like self-inflict challenge versus change the difficulty slider to monsters have more HP. I do appreciate that. I don't think I'm sold on it in the same way that like with my experience with Elden Ring was like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff there and I just need to get it done. So but I think it's cool. I appreciate that that's doing that. I don't know if that's a selling point to me though.
Yeah. I feel like if I had to describe this game, I'd say like it's niche, but like the biggest, most accessible version of niche that I can think of. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like it is a game that I would not recommend to your average person, but by the same token, I really like it and I think it'll do well.
Yeah.
And it does a great job of getting you to mess around with all the crap it wants you to mess around with.
Would
Geoff,
you say you're really feeling it?
I would say I'm really feeling it, yeah.
I wanted to ask real quick, how does the story of these games like relate to Xenosaga or Xenogears?
Oh, this is important.
Because there are things that, like Riku, as a species,
he's basically a choo-choo, yeah.
Is a choo-choo.
Yes.
And
so, yeah.
Yeah, so is there a connection? I mean, some of the ships look surprisingly similar to...
Yeah.
You know?
The Ouroboros kind of look like gears.
Yeah, the Ouroboros is... The main Ouroboros is just Weltall.
Yeah. So, this is a great question, Jamie. The official answer is the world of Xenoblade is not connected to the world of Xenogears. However, both contain Zohar, or the conduit.
Gotcha,
so do you remember Zohar?
Yes, I do.
Remember that thing? Mm-hmm. The otherworldly entity that like that they make contact with that sets the whole chain of events in Xenogears off. Mm-hmm. That's present in every Xeno title in one form or another.
Gotcha. Okay.
So in the world of Xenoblade, I'll just give you spoilers from the first and second game because you're not going to play them. The world of the first game was created because someone activated the like Zohar thing, and essentially like destroyed the universe and created a pocket universe that they were god of or something.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. And then in the second game, you encounter that person because you're on Earth, but they don't tell you that to the end of the game. And he's half a guy because half of him is in another dimension. And you help him like repopulate Earth, kind of.
Nice.
Not sexy like. It's, you like help him create like a habitable Earth. It's very strange. But basically, the first game is set in an alternate dimension, featuring two large biomasses fighting each other. Second game is set on Earth, but you don't know that. And then the implication after both of those games is you kind of set both of those worlds to rights. And then the third game is supposed to merge elements from both of those games in one form or another. So there will be a through line for sure, because there are a couple of returning characters that have been shown in
Now
trailers.
explain Xenosaga.
Jesus Christ is a character in Xenosaga.
Fact. Wait, only one?
I believe he's only one. Jesus Christ of Nazareth is a character. Mary Magdalene is a character. Yeshua is a character.
Bless you.
Thank you.
What about Kosamosu?
Yes, Cosmos is also a character. Hilbert Effect.
Oh, that's when you eat. You're pooping more than you eat, right?
Xenosaga is hilarious. I've not played them through. I should. But they are some of the wildest. But they all have the Zohar in them. So there is sort of a through line. It's almost like there are the same archetypes in every game, and they all could be in universe. But because they are published through different entities, like Monolith Soft published through Namco when they made Xenosaga. Obviously, it was Square before when they made Xenogears, and it's now Nintendo for Xenoblade. There is not enough shared between them for it to be a thing.
It's almost as if they're operating off the same lore Bible.
I mean, it's kind of like that, but I think the lore Bible has to be altered to avoid copyright claims or infringement suits and things like that.
Yes, many different books of the lore Bible.
Are you trying to say Bible, emphasis on Bible?
I'm just talking about fictional works.
Okay. There's no Jesus in Xenoblade yet.
Yet.
But yeah, so the world in this game is clearly, in some form or another, a fusion of the first and second game. Like, if you look at the world, I don't know what the deal is yet, but like the first and second game, all the masses, all the land masses were actually living entities. This game has not said that yet, but
it looks like it.
There are clearly biological things coming off of it.
Yeah.
So something is amiss there. And there are two characters, one from the first game and one from the second game, that are very clearly returning, and it's unclear as to why they exist in this world, because they shouldn't. And they're clearly the basis for a lot of other characters. So like Mio, the cat girl, she's clearly derived from a character from the second game, and Uni is clearly derived from a character from the first game. So
interesting.
There's some weird stuff going on.
Cool.
Yeah, so it'll go wacky places by the end, I'm sure, because that's what it does.
I'm excited to have you explain more of the plot to me in time, Geoff.
Well, you see, 30,000 years ago.
Okay. When a Yeshua loves a fake Jesus.
Oh, it was 6,000 years ago, at most.
Also Zarathustra is a character in Xenosaga as well.
Yep.
It's quite a game.
Yep. Well, that sounds fun. Not for me. Jamie, do you think, is this on your commitment list? Are you winding down?
No, I think I'm going to see this one through. The story is interesting. I like the art. The minute to minute of exploration is fun, and it also lends itself to, like I said, doing something else. In my case, being on call. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's a perfect kind of game for anyone who finds themselves sitting at work and having spans of time to themselves. I think I'm going to see it through. I hope I do, because it's cool.
Yeah, and I think if you don't sally too far away from the main plot, then you'll probably get through it in a reasonable time frame. Mm-hmm. And you can always turn the difficulty down if you just want to experience the side stories and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Well, let's talk a little bit about a game we have all played and have all beat. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
We have all beaten it. Did we beat it together?
Well, that's where I'm kind of like, shit, I don't know. Did we all beat it? We all played it together.
I don't think I've beaten it. And I don't think we beat it together.
All right.
But I played a meaty chunk of it with you boys.
The next topic then. Fuck it.
What?
No, we can talk about Turtles. Let's
see. Yeah, no. I'm just kidding. Yes.
Turtles is really good. I don't feel like there's a lot that needs to be talked about with Turtles, other than it's just a really fun beat 'em up.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I want it to be.
It does that thing.
Go ahead. No.
I was just going to say, it does that thing where it is the game you remember, but not the game that actually was,
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, for sure. What were you going to say, Griff?
I was just, Jamie, you said it a lot more pithy than what I was going to say, which, is like, there seems to be a lot of nice embellishments on the combat structure, giving a little bit more oomph than your typical, like, Turtles in Time beat 'em up, which is like jump and attack. So,
yeah,
surprisingly a lot there.
Bosses are not that great. It's the weak point, I think.
I feel like bosses are always just hard to hit,
I don't know if I agree with that,
the
Geoff. Yeah, I thought they were fine. I think in co-op they're especially hard, but that's just because there's so much happening on the screen and it really doesn't matter.
I guess I felt like they didn't feel substantial enough. I feel like when I fought the bosses in Turtles in Time, which is like the most obvious influence on this game, they lasted a little longer. Like, I feel like the bosses in this game just basically fold, like, immediately. Like, they hurt you a lot, but they die really fast.
Well, the game's trying to do a lot of things, right? I feel like when you guys were playing with me and you needed to, like, make sure that I survived, or when we were playing with Shannon once, I feel like the bosses are just right. I feel like these bosses are maybe designed for, like, 2 or 3 people who know what they're doing and 1 person who does not. And so if there's 4 of you or everyone on the team is just kind of really good, maybe they do feel that way. But I felt like we were in a couple situations where some of those bosses were pretty tough. We had to be reviving each other constantly. We had to be, I had to be altering my tactics, learning things midway through the battle. So
that's
that was
fair.
cool.
Some of them were real stumbling points. There were a couple bosses that were just like surprisingly hard, just kind of randomly scattered throughout.
If you're saying unevenness for bosses is the weak point, then I'd agree with you 100%.
Okay, that's fair. I think the stages themselves are better than the bosses. That's what I would say.
Oh yeah.
The stages are really fun, full of creativity,
a lot of variety.
Yeah, so many gags and jokes.
Yeah, so much awareness of the any of the previous Turtle games. It's like nice little call outs and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was fun.
Totally.
Yeah, I still remember that foot soldier. Who was sitting typing at a computer that wasn't there alongside all his other ones.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Adorable.
A lot of good animations.
Yeah. Oh, good character differentiation, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I recently stumbled down a rabbit hole of, like, the YouTube video nonsense of, like, look at all these references that are in this game. But not to, like, shit in the background type references, but, like, the animations where it's like, oh, Raphael does the hooligan uppercut or whatever from Cammy from Street Fighter. It's like there is animation nods to certain fighting game things, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's actually really cool that is cool there, and like that, like just so many homages, so many I don't know, maybe it's a reach or maybe it's a stretch, but like when it's a couple side-by-side things where it's just like, oh, neat, very cool. So I appreciate that too, and it's obviously not in the face and too obvious in a way that it detracts. So
it's clearly a labor of love, and I think it's extremely well put together for what it is. I mean, do we have anything that we want to really hit on with it? Like any standout moments, or the music is really good?
Yeah,
a lot of really fun stuff.
No, I think just like the game itself, a brief touch is all that it requires.
I did buy it on multiple platforms and played it probably like 4 or 5 times. I'm good. Maybe I'll come back to it if I just want to have a nice beat 'em up experience. But yeah, it's really fun.
Yes, sir. I did not buy the collector's edition to get the free pizza. No. I know. Yeah. Maybe later.
I only want it if Reggie Fils-Aimé comes back to Pizza Hut to deliver it to me.
Wait, I thought he was Domino.
He was Pizza Hut. Okay. Yeah, he did the Bigfoot pizza.
Okay.
Something else, I can't remember what.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. Reggie.
What a career.
Right. A legend. I don't know. Do you guys... I could talk a little bit about Last Call BBS and just get that one off the list here.
Sure. I don't remember what this game is.
Yeah, me neither.
I saw it listed somewhere and I can't remember its deal.
Yeah, so
Big Butt Simulator?
Big Butt Simulator. It's okay. It's a Zachtronics game, which I think is the shorthand for what. Yeah,
really complicated.
Brutally complicated. I don't know if I'd say that, but like it's a programmer's game, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the Zachtronics MO. So they do things like their history would be like Exapunks or not Headlander.
What's the chem game?
Oh god,
Space Chem.
I don't know. Look them up while I'm trying to talk through them. But basically, in this game, the premise is that like you're gifted an old computer, and you boot the game up, and you get like a virtual desktop, and you have to go to a BBS or like an online message or an online kind of like database website where you dial in, and then you using some command prompts download a file from their server, and the like kitschy delightful thing is like, yes, it does take real time to do the download, even though it's all packaged within the game. So it is kind of like a sim in that regard, but it's still like playful and doesn't actually take into account like true file size. I'm sure maybe it does. I guess I don't know. But then it's like, oh, because it's a BBS, like you can, and they've got bandwidth limitations, quote unquote, in the universe. Like you can only download so many every 15 minutes. And it's like, come back tomorrow and get another one, but right now you've exceeded your quota. So I was never a BBS person in early internet and early lifetime, so it doesn't quite have the same
like nostalgia hooks for you.
Yeah, but there is something really nice about like the games that they provide. So basically, you go and you dial into the BBS, you go and you download the game, and then there's like a notepad in the game that kind of pops up, and it's like the person whose computer this was gives you a little background, and they're like, oh, I really like this game, or we kind of stole some of this code out of it to help prompt this other thing in the office, and it was just like such a fun unifying thing for everybody. So there's like this little human heartwarming slice of life kind of message that comes along with each one of the games in it too. And of course there's solitaire on the desktop that you can play.
Nice.
But I probably should. I am going to go back to it and play some more of the games that are packed in, because I immediately went to the fake Gundam building simulator, which is just a fucking treat. And I was like, oh my god, Jamie, this is 100% for us. It's so weird. It's just very zen. You have your different tools that you use to clip and get all the flash out and then assemble and paint, and I don't know.
It sounds like this has a lot more character than your average Zachtronics game. I feel like Zachtronics usually is like, I'm going to take this like very programmy ass system and just go all in on that. This feels like it's like, yeah, that's there, but also your rewards are very full of heart, which is weird.
I don't have the history with Zachtronics to say one way or the other. I think there's always kind of like a human angle to those stories.
Okay.
Maybe this one is just more mellow and less and less melodrama. So I don't know. I haven't played it a whole lot, but it is just very relaxing.
All right.
So sounds cool.
It's on Xbox Games Pass through. So if you're looking to just get a quick fix and see if you like it, I'd recommend checking that out.
I feel like I tried Space Chem for a hot second, and then it was like, this is too complicated. And that was the end of that. I'll definitely take a peek.
Yeah, and there was like some nonsense floating around about how like it's quote unquote their last games, and then like kind of the story of Zach or whomever, like the head behind the game design group, and from everything that I understand, like everything that I've gleaned from hearing news and other podcasts, it's like Zachtronics might be done with doing Zachtronic games, and they might be relabeling and producing games under a new label. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it does say last game from Zachtronics. I'm looking right now.
Yeah. I think there was some stories about dude who wanted to go teach high school or something, and then like did it and was like, nope.
I was gonna say,
I think I like video games.
Choice.
Yeah. Interesting timing. Yeah. But let's see here. Ironclad Tactics, Infinifactory, TIS 100, Zensen, Opus Magnum,
Shenzhen IO. Yeah.
Shenzhen IO. Thank you.
Yep.
Exapunks is the only one that I'm really aware of. I thought there was maybe they didn't do the one that I was thinking of. Interesting. Oh, Space Chem.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's worthwhile just giving a peek at. I mean, not that we're in a lull for games to be played.
I know, but I'm still curious about it. I mean, again, if there's a Zachtronics game that I can wrap my head around, I kind of want to give it a shot, because just programming in general, which is clearly like what guides his design, is very difficult for me to wrap my head around. So
I haven't hit anything that really requires any of that level at this point.
Awesome.
I hear there's like a Factorio-esque, management style game in there that might be a little bit overwhelming, but I don't. And then I don't know. I haven't touched it, so I'll end it there just to not spend any more time. Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds interesting though.
Yeah. People who love Zachtronics games like love them.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely want to check this thing out and see what it's like.
Sweet.
Nice.
You should. Let's get another big one out of the way here. We joked about it at the top here. Neon White has been out for a bit, and I think we've all played it through different means, even, which is great. Or different venues.
I played it on Switch. Did you play it on Switch too, Jamie? You did.
Yes,
right?
I played it on Switch. I haven't played as much as I would have liked to, but I am playing it on Switch.
Griff, how far along did you get?
I think I recently played it, and I am midway through Lower Hell, so I think that's the third series of worlds, third or fourth. I can never remember based on the how the tutorial factors in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to the end, I think.
Lower Heaven, I forget.
Maybe like 1 or 2 more worlds left. I like it a lot. I mean, I think the core gameplay, which was advertised as being like all the promotional material was like for freaks by freaks.
Accurate.
Yeah.
I guess so. But it's fun. Like I think they kind of sold it a little short. Like it is. First and foremost, it's a puzzle game.
It just makes so much sense to you, Geoff, because you're a freak.
I'm a freak. That's
We're
the
all
problem.
freaks. It's freaking fun.
It's freaking fun. It's true. No, it's a puzzle game, like a speedrunning puzzle game, basically. Like emphasis on good platforming, first-person platforming, which again, I guess it is a tough pitch, but like it's really cool. So basically, your goal is just to race through levels really fast. You collect cards, which are weapons, and the fact that they're cards is not really that important. It's not
I was going to say,
game.
yeah, it's weird that was a selling point through its marketing.
Yeah, you just collect power-ups that usually they will do 2 things. Well, they all do 2 things. You can either use them as a weapon, or you can essentially discard them and do an effect. So like there's one that gives you another jump, there's one that makes you stomp, there's one that makes you dash forward, there's one that makes you shoot out a grappling hook. And basically they give you these tools and they drop you in these kind of curated spaces and say get there as quickly as possible. And if you do it fast enough, then you get like the best medal you can get and all the goodies that the game wants to give you. And then if you really are super into it, you can try to dominate the leaderboards. I don't care about that.
Nope.
But it's usually not too bad to get the highest medal. Like most of them, I don't know, you could kind of figure it out. And they give you hints. The better you get, the more like they give you hints about how to do like the optimal path.
And it seems like the levels are designed to be played multiple times so that you can get little hints about what you need to do to get the fastest time and play it through. And I think that if you're not going for the fastest time and you're just going through those levels once, I don't know if it would be as rich of an experience.
Absolutely, yeah. And they really heavily incentivize going through multiple times, not just because, you want to get a better time, but also they put a gift in every level that you can find, which is usually hidden pretty well. So they really want you to explore kind of every angle of the level to try to find these little hidden gifts. And wrapped around that is a story about, I mean, it's a kind of story trope that I like, which is like, you're in like a paradise.
Stranger in a strange land. Yeah.
Well, it's like you're in a paradise, but it's not really a paradise. Like cruelty is happening in this place that's supposed to be perfect, and you have to figure out what's going on. So that's pretty cool. It very much reminds me of Paradise Killer in its premise.
Oh, sure. Yeah, now that you say that.
However, I think the execution is not as good as Paradise Killer.
Oh, sure. Right. Paradise Killer was that first.
Yeah, Paradise Killer had some really cool story beats going on and just really interesting characters. The characters in this game are good, but they're not great.
No.
They're
It's fine.
Yeah. Like, they're just, it's like Hot Girl number 1, Hot Girl number 2.
It's anime tropes at their worst, I guess.
Yeah, hot, boneheaded himbo boy.
Yeah, just, nothing interesting, but also, it's like, go in with that impression, right? Like, you're not going to be bowled over by any, multifaceted, layered story. It's just you're watching a silly goof 'em up anime, and then you're playing a fucking balls to the wall speedrun shooter traversal game.
Yeah, I think I was expecting a little more because like I had read that people were doing fan art and were like all in love with these characters, and I was like, oh, there must be really good plot that makes people really drawn to these characters. No, the plot's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cats are angels, or the angels are cats, which is great. 10 out of 10 for that.
Agree. Good year for cats. Yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a nice balance too, where it's like, oh, okay, you get through your 10 levels or whatever, and then it's like I can just do a little relaxation and click through, listen to some well voice acted dialogue. For better or for worse.
Is that Steve Blum?
What's that?
Is Steve Blum in this game?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The thing that I do really like too is you're progressing those quote unquote like side story relationships, but then they also unlock more levels, which typically those levels like are outside of the norm. So it's like your typical level would be, you get series of gun of one flavor, and you use it to kind of learn and traverse the level. And then in the side story, it's like turn the whole formula on its head. It's like, oh, you can't use the secondary function. No traversal, abilities, or it's like, oh, there's one weird enemy type and it's the only thing you face, and it adds to. They feel like fun little like spin-off rooms that are
they're hyper concentrated, do the thing really well.
Yep.
Yeah. And also no time limits or like no times to beat. So you can just kind of meander through them, which is nice.
Yeah, and I do really... It's one of those games, too, where you remark with some self-awareness on the well-designed nature of it, where it inherently, I think, even without using the hints, you can start to put pieces together and see, like, oh, this is now how I get the special, most speedy way to get through it. So it's always like really fun to be like, aha, I feel so smart right now because I solved it. But then it's like, okay, well, that's part of the design. So that's really enjoyable. I did get stuck in one area, and I watched one YouTube clip of like how to get it. And of course, there's not like a tutorial on how to. Of course, that doesn't exist. So instead, it was like speed run fastest to get through this thing, and I was just like, holy shit, man, like this is incredible watching this run. So I don't know, like sequence breaking beyond the prescribed sequence breaking is happening, and very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's fun to get like a good enough score to get the mega medal without actually doing the tips that they want you to do. Like that's very satisfying.
Hitting it in your first go is very nice too.
Yeah, and he remarks on it too. He's like, "On my first try."
Yeah,
you're like, "Heck yeah."
Yep,
yeah. It's fun. It's a great game. I mean, I would recommend it to anyone who enjoys on any level at all, like practicing something. I think that's really what you have. The skill you have to enjoy this game is to be willing to practice and replay and
first
get value
person
out of
Super
replays.
Meat Boy.
Yeah, Super Meat Boy, but not as punishing.
I feel more accessible than that, and more accessible than, as you guys were saying, the marketing may have led you to believe.
Yeah. That was my fear too. Is like, I'm like, okay, this is gonna skill me out. I'm not going to be able to keep up with the demand, which is also why I decided to play on PC, because I was like, well, it'll probably require some pretty fast mouse look functions, so I will play it on PC. But from all accounts, you guys are having just fine time with Switch.
It has some pretty generous like auto aim,
cool,
which kind of helps you out with those sorts of things. There's definitely some moments, but just a few extra tries. It's no big deal.
Sure. I got to my first level in Lower Heaven or something, wherever I was, and it was like the first time where I'm like, I don't think I can get this this next one. So I was like, I'm not going to look anything up again. I'm just going to keep moving. Mm-hmm. So I think there's just maybe some compromise that'll have to happen at some point for me with it, is saying like, okay, you're not going to get all the Supreme medals and full clear everything. Or maybe I just need to continue forward and then do that cleanup afterwards. But my methodology before had been like, get everything done before going to the next level.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that might be a little grating.
Or you could also just get good.
I could just get good. Just one shot it, which would be impossible, but,
just 360 no-scope it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, it's a great game. Definitely, I feel like we haven't talked about it in a way that necessarily spells everything out for people who are listening, but it is absolutely worth playing. Again, if you find any element of it interesting and you're willing to replay things, then play this game.
And I wouldn't describe myself as someone who's into that, but this game is still compelling to me.
You did grind the Pac-Man records with me.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. This is correct.
Which required just replaying that 5-minute stage over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. It was fun. It was a good time.
That was.
Anyway.
Geoff, speaking of grinding, Into the Breach Advanced Edition.
Yeah, I'll talk about this briefly. I feel like it's under the radar for a lot of people, and it makes me sad because I loved Into the Breach. So, okay, Subset Games, they made FTL. Everyone loves FTL. Also made Into the Breach. Not everyone loves Into the Breach. Some people think it's too hard. Some people think it's too easy. It's got a lot of opinions attached to it, and it's just not the same game. Its scope is a little bit smaller. It lacks the same sort of endless replayability of FTL, but it's really cool. It's 8x8 kind of mini strategic skirmishes a la tactics games, all centered around positioning and pushing enemies and usually surviving for a set number of turns. You go through multiple maps. You have secondary objectives that give you resources. Then you face an alien threat at the end, and you do the whole thing over again. And there's some there's strong roguelike elements, and there are some progression elements that move between different things, and you can unlock new squads and new ways of doing it. Really fun game. Came out some years ago. I won't rehash that too much. Advanced Edition is basically just what they did with FTL. Add a whole bunch more of all the things. So add new squads, so new strategies emerge, add new enemy types, add new mission types, and add new items, add new all sorts of stuff, new pilots to pilot your various mechs that you're using to kill these enemies. And it just puts a breath of fresh air back in the game. And I've had some really engaging experiences playing this game. Also, it's on iPad, and everyone should play it also on iPhone, and I think also on Android. You should play it on your mobile device because all you need is a Netflix account, and you can play it for free. And it's really fun.
All right.
And the mobile implementation's really good. I really like that game a lot. It's really, really good, and the music is amazing. Ben Prunty, who did the FTL music, does it. Yeah, it's just really worth playing. And I don't think it's getting a lot of attention, which is very sad because Subset Games owns.
Well, no real harm to them, right? Since it's like not developed by them.
Thing. I guess. I mean, if you pick it up on any other platforms, if you own Into the Breach, it's a free update. So if you have it on Steam or Epic or wherever else, then you're going to get it there too. Also on Switch, the update can come there as well. So anywhere you own this game, you'll get the update for free. You might not even realize you have it. But if you want to play it on mobile, where I think it's right at home and very fun to do, that's available to you as well for free if you have Netflix. But yeah, no great loss if the mobile version tanks. That's just Netflix being stupid, not advertising their games.
Well, speaking of Netflix, I did log into it on my phone last night too. And I was like in there and I was like, oh, I should go check out that FTL game that Into the Breach, which I do like. My second favorite game of 2018.
Ooh. You have the LPs, right?
I do. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good music. Great music.
Great music.
But I could not figure out how to find like a gaming tab or anything like that in my Netflix
it's
app.
you just download the app from the App Store.
Oh.
And then you log into your Netflix account to play it.
Ugh. Okay.
And then I think the name of the app is Netflix Into the Breach.
Yep, it is. I'm downloading it right now.
Beautiful.
No.
No.
It looks exactly like a ripoff of Into the Breach. Like if you're just scrolling through, you would think that this was neither Netflix nor Into the Breach.
Netflix, I hate you. Also,
Floppy Bird.
For what it's worth, for the few people for whom this matters, it seems like the iPad and iPhone versions are different games, so progress does not seem to transfer between them, which is weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, so if you're going to play it on either one or the other, I'd commit to one of them.
iPad it is.
Is it no crosstalk amongst anything? PC, Switch, phone, mobile?
I don't think so. I'm checking right now to see.
I guess it's all just unlocks, right? You're unlocking pilots and different teams, right? So is that what it is? I forget. Can you
Yeah,
do
it's
a
all
contra code
unlocks.
to unlock all the things anyway?
I don't know if you can do any contra code stuff, but it's all unlocks. There is a little bit of permanent, or a little bit of kind of meta progression or not meta progression, but like you can come in with a pilot from the last game, because the conceit is that they travel back in time before the timeline is either saved or destroyed, and you can use their skills to give you a heads up.
Yes,
but yeah, it's not really a game that is hurt that much by losing progression. Yep. You still have a great time. But yeah. It looks
but
like
as a master unlocker like yourself, Geoff, who has opened every single
We're a real video game podcast now.
I'm the master of unlocking. It's true. Yeah, I have all the unlocks on Steam, so I have to redo them all on iOS, which is a little bit of a bummer, but also fun because it's like.
Are there Netflix achievements?
The game has an in-game achievement system, so you unlock things by doing achievements, either getting wins with different squads or like doing specific interesting things. If you get those achievements, you get coins, which you can use to unlock new squads.
And if you watch, for every episode of Stranger Things you watch, you get additional mechs per battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you get the Mechna.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. I'll see myself out.
Tip your waiters, folks.
So just to keep things moving here, I know I want to talk about Stray, but we are getting kind of low on time. Anything else anybody wants to call dibs on before?
I just want to say that the Playdate is cool. It's not like it's refreshingly not something that will ever ask for a huge amount of your time or energy, or it seems like it's actually designed to be picked up, enjoyed for at most 5 or 10 minutes and then put down again, which is great. It's like exactly what I wanted. There are 2 games out currently.
Well,
there's a photography based one.
Hold that thought, Jamie.
Okay.
There's a lot of games out for it. It's just when you get your Playdate, you unknowingly buy into a weekly rollout of games being distributed to you. So every week you get served up 2 more games from the entire season that's available.
Oh, and it's based on when you activate the device?
Exactly. So you are feeling like you are going through a rollout of a console launch, but for other folks who have it, they may be at a different cadence. Which is really neat because, you get that kind of, exactly as you're saying, you don't need to be like investing a significant amount of time into this little deck of cards looking thing here. It's nice to have it just bite-sized and served up bite-sized.
I did not realize that the weekly rollout is like per system. That's so
it's
odd.
cool. You can opt out of it too.
Oh, cool. So you can get them like as they like all the ones that have been released.
massive take them all. Yeah, give me the whole shebang.
I'm gonna keep going with it. And is it the same 2 games, or is it like random which 2 you get served?
What were your first 2 games?
The surfing game and the photography game.
I think it must be the same rollout then, because I got, what is it? Whitewater Wipeout and Casual Birder.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like that because those are 2 games, neither of which I probably would have, dove into had I had the full menu. But without the full menu, being forced to focus on those 2 games, it kind of opened them up for me. Both games that I opened up the first time, and I was like, well, this is kind of cute, but I don't know if I'm going to play it anymore. But then I just kind of find myself reaching for the thing because it's so easy to just open up and play for a few minutes. And I'm actually into both of those games, and I don't think I would be if I had a whole smorgasbord to choose from. So that's kind of cool. I think I'm going to continue to opt into the slow rollout.
Yeah, 24 amazing games looks like is what we've got on the pipeline.
And you can make your own games, and there's homebrew and all this stuff. I actually am looking forward to trying to, make something, because I just love the idea that that's available. I always am very, romantically drawn to the idea that I could potentially create something. And whenever a game offers something like that, I always screw around with it for 5 seconds and then inevitably just leave it. But I think it's cool that they make that available and that it's easy to use.
Yeah, it's great too for folks who want to engage in the tool and want to create their own things outside of the season, which will give a lot of longevity. They make the side loading and pushing to your device super simple through the Playdate website.
And there are people who are doing things like putting Pokemon Red and Blue on there. And it doesn't run at native speed, but you can play Pokemon Red and Blue and at a slightly slowed down speed on your Playdate.
That's
kind of cool.
And that really screen looks really, really cool. I love the look of it.
It's a good screen.
It's like a Kindle, but better.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jamie, you got a case for yours? You got a cover? God, I'm so jealous. I wish I had a cover for mine.
Can't you still get it?
I ordered it, but I think it's they're to order only, so they got to ramp up the old case stamping machine to get it out the door.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I have the case on it, and it is in my pocket a lot of the time. You know, so it's perfect.
The freedom.
Like, yeah, exactly.
What do you think of the battery life?
It seems pretty dang good to me.
Yeah.
What do you? Okay. I'm not like going whole hog on these games. What do you think?
It depletes a little faster than I was expecting. And maybe I got a bad bat as part of their delay in their shipping. But I have to charge it probably once. I would have to charge it every 2 weeks, even not playing it, like just sitting there with its screen up. It'll draw some power. So I guess definitely not the end of time, but it's just kind of weird having something in like a standby mode that's draining power pretty regularly.
That's a thing. That happens with the Switch to a degree as well. It was really bad with the 3DS, but it's not so bad with the Switch, but it does happen.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I do get the sense that it's a little rough. I mean, it's endearing because it is a little rough around the edges, and they were pretty upfront about that throughout their marketing and you know, honest with the struggles they were having and keeping you up to date with shipping and everything like that. But there are little, you know, rough patches around the edges. For example, in the Birder game, which is a game that utilizes the crank, if you tuck the crank away and then untuck the crank while you're playing the game, at least on my version of the Playdate, the parts of the screen go blank, and that they only fill in again when you advance the screen. I'm sure this is a glitch. It's not like a deal breaker, but it's just a reminder that this is like an indie game company that decided to make a console that is on its completely own Lua-based language and its completely own hardware, and there's gonna be some jank, and that's okay.
All right, Jamie, I just put the crank away, pulled the crank back out, no change.
So it's probably mine.
Could be patched. Are you patching?
I probably have to patch.
Patch. I gotta.
Also,
when the time comes, guys? You should. It's
cool, man.
It's your device, Geoff. Like, if there's anything that is made specifically for you, it is this.
I do love
Jeff. You're gonna play.
The only difference is when Nintendo makes this, and then you extol it's how wonderful and perfect it is because it's Nintendo's. Like, you just be like, yo, you could have had that with the Playdate.
No, Jeff is going to. So someone is going to make a definitive homebrew version of Pokemon Red Blue with some sort of strange rule change that's only going to be on the Playdate, and Jeff is going to play it like 30 times.
Oh, the competitive scene is only through the Poke Crank? Crank-a-mon?
Crank-a-mon.
What's that? Nuzlocke? They're going to make like a Nuzlocke Red-Blue with a crank.
God doesn't even know what a Nuzlocke is.
Amateur. Jamie, Pick Up Pup is one that I'm really enjoying.
Cool.
It's like a puzzle fighter, or not a puzzle fighter, but you know, like a gem matching game. Very, very nice. I'm liking that one a lot. And then I think my personal favorite at the moment is Lost Your Marbles, which is like a world rotating, you know, kind of like Marble Madness, but different perspective, where you're going through kind of a puzzle thing to move the marble to its destination is the game, but the writing is just so fucking delightful and stupid and twee and just like the good, like 2022 as of August 7th, 2022, good internet humor. Let it be known that that makes me subject to change after we get inundated with it.
It's actually super racist. Shoot.
Oh no! But yeah, I highly recommend Lost Your Marbles to check that one out and just enjoy that one.
Birder has okay humor. Not all the jokes are landing with me, but some of them are.
It's fine.
The thing that I am thinking about when I'm playing the Playdate is that we live in something of a golden era in a society, and we live in something of a golden era of handholds that allow you to do things like emulation or even just play Steam. And it seems like there are a lot of options out there, and there are more coming on the market every day. But there is something to having a curated, experience, and not just being thrown literally a Windows 11 on a cool handheld device, and just, having to think, okay, what exactly do I want to play, and loading up the games you want and tweaking the emulators to make sure they work. It's nice to have a cool device that's extremely unique, extremely pocketable, and you don't think about setting anything up. It just goes, and you got these cool games that you wouldn't see otherwise. And it seems like, the price is right. It's a cool thing, man.
It's like the opposite side of the coin of the Playdate, or excuse me, of the Steam Deck.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Steam Deck even is somewhat curated in terms of it's running a custom OS, but there are all of these amazing handhelds coming out now, like the Aya Neo Air, which for like $500-$600 you get a fully fledged AMD Ryzen Windows 11 PC.
Do you know about this, Jamie? Because Dave Judy did a video on it.
I've watched that video, but it seems like everyone and their mother is doing a video on it.
True,
so
yeah.
I feel like they're getting out there. I'm very compelled by it. I'm going to stop myself.
I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't do it. 1 to 1.5 hour battery life.
Never mind.
Just get the Odin. That thing, it lasts forever, and it does everything you'd want it to do.
But that's what I'm talking about. We're in this golden age, and you have so many options. And the Odin is probably even that is a little more kind of tailored to you and set up in a way that's user friendly. But this is like, you open the thing up, you're gonna get 2 games.
Yeah,
that's it, and that's all you need, and it's kind of cool for that reason.
The main thing is, I'm just not sure if I want to spend $180 on that.
You know what? I think. Sorry if you can hear Shannon in the background. Can you hear her?
I can't, and I'm sad.
No.
Okay, good. So you can. Okay, I recently bought some soap, a cheap pair of Amazon's Basics shorts, and a cheap pair of like slip-on sneakers on Amazon, and it was like $120. So that's the world we're in.
In Biden's America.
In Biden's America. So $180 for this thing where you get the games. That's pretty damn good.
But what if I buy Xenoblade for $60 and play it for over 100 hours? And I fight giant robots with fangs.
That's true. That's true.
Say that we're on a wild ride of fate and destiny.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Good points.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely intrigued. I went to the pre-order page and it doesn't ship until 2023, so I've been put off for now.
Mm-hmm.
I need it faster. It sounds like Griffin might be away from the screen right now. Jamie, anything else you want to talk about?
No, but how are you liking your Odin? Is it still kind of part of your rotation? Are you using it frequently? What are your thoughts on it?
It's not super in my rotation right now. I'm happy to have a device that could pretty capably run anything I could throw at it in terms of Super Nintendo, PlayStation, some PSP, other stuff like that. I just haven't really had occasion to use it. It's been a pretty busy summer, so I haven't. And also just a fair bit of games have been coming out, so I haven't really engaged with it too heavily. While Griffin is gone, I can briefly touch on Kirby, which I beat. Kirby's really fun. I recommend playing through to the end. Jamie, you have it, right?
Yeah, and I've enjoyed it, but I have not played as much as I would have liked.
It does the thing that every Kirby game of late does, which is it starts out extremely cutesy and like almost too easy, and then it slowly ramps its sort of difficulty, and it has the fun optional level challenges, and then the end of the game is like a cliff. A cliff that not only it's like a metaphorical cliff, but also like story wise it's a cliff in that like it goes off the cliff. It's like, hey, remember how you're fighting a bunch of like little beasts? What if there was an ultimate alien life form and you had to kill that now?
Okay, I really need to play this now.
It's like, what if the lore got really freaking deep just out of nowhere?
That sounds amazing.
It's very good. And then there's a fairly generous post game, which is kind of interesting. I played through it all.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's just a fun game. I had a great time with it, and given that I didn't like the demo, I'm happy that I gave it a shot, because I think it's the next great Kirby game after your Planet Robobots and your Triple Deluxe and all that stuff.
Got it.
I think Kirby doesn't always hit, but when it does, it's fun in a very particular way, like kind of a breezy, accessible way that kind of slowly ramps the challenge in terms of optional content, and then again has a hard as butts last boss for no reason.
Yeah, and if you're in the mood for that kind of breezy thing, they're great games. Yeah,
it's really fun. It's just a very charming and engaging game, and powering up the various abilities is really cool. It's real good. So yeah,
breezy then rock hard butts.
Exactly. It's exactly what I want. Griff, you want to chat about Stray a little bit?
Yeah, that's I'm glad we talked about Playdate, but I wanted to go through Stray with you guys and see what thoughts were.
I played about 15 minutes of it. I loved the first part of the game where you're chilling with your cat friends, and then I fell into a cyberpunk world, and I was like, I want the cat friends back. I don't like the cyberpunk world. Get me out of here. I felt like I was being railroaded into like a freaking indie game with an art style, man.
I haven't played it, so I'm very curious to hear what you guys think.
Yeah. Well, I want to start off by just saying, okay, Geoff, did you buy the game, just to clarify how you got to it?
Is there any other way?
Well, so this is where I think we're just in an interesting space right now, where I thought that Stray was going to be like a Sony thing. It was part of the launch reel for the PlayStation 5. It was kind of like, when I think Stray, I think PlayStation 5, new gen console, indie kind of adoption thing.
Yeah.
And then it's multi-platform. I think you could play it. You could definitely play it on PC.
You can, yeah.
Which we're seeing all sorts of great mods coming from. But then with Sony's new PlayStation Plus model or whatever,
which I refuse to buy into.
Give me no reason to engage in your product.
Do I want like a terrible collection of PS1 games, some of them PAL versions that don't run well?
So that was this is where I think was their sad impotent attempt to have a marquee game that would push you into that stratosphere of time to upgrade, baby. Because I've got PlayStation Plus, long time subscriber,
first time poster,
and I thought like, oh well, because of all the Sony marketing and Sony it must be a Plus game, or maybe a year ago it was a Plus game. But now it is not a free game of the month. It is something that you would get if you're doing if
you're like an Ultimate member or some shit.
Whatever. Yeah,
they tried real hard to push you into that. They're like, hey, it's free with premium. And I was like, nope, don't care.
Yeah, or it's like, you're going to spend... It's that like nefarious marketing too, where it's like, you're going to spend $13 on this. You could spend $30 and get all these other things for free, prorated for the rest of the year. And I'm like, nice, good, sure. Yeah. So I was a little turned off by that and confused by, this is where we live now, and that the game that was shown as the console launch definitely is not inherently part of that ecosystem anymore. Mm-hmm. And because of Sony's new modeling, it's also like making things even more obscure, and like the predictability of like, oh, that's a PlayStation Plus free game is not going to be the quick vernacular anymore.
I think the PlayStation Plus free games are just going to be crappy third-party stuff.
Yes, and no, I mean, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 is free now as your PlayStation Plus for this month, and that's a pretty good game.
It's not crappy third-party, but it is third-party. It might as well be crappy third-party in terms of where it stands in the market right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of sales and the fact that series isn't continuing anymore, and it probably was an easy get.
Sure. I think you also get Yakuza like a dragon.
Oh,
so I
okay.
don't know if I agree
Alright.
with those
Okay,
sentiments
fair.
and that they're
take it
giving
back.
you just slop.
I take it back.
But it doesn't seem to be quite the generous space that it used to be. So that's a bummer. And then also kind of a bummer. So here's my quick stray, Geoff, I think similarly as yours. 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 for Cat. 3 out of 5 for quality of game.
I like how the maximum score changed between those two rating systems.
Oh yeah. Exceeds possible measurability for good cat. Actually, the cat's not even that great. There's some tail problems in my opinion.
Let's call it a 9 out of 10 cat. 9 out of 10 cat. If only
9 out of
because
10 cat.
the stuff the cat is doing is stuff that I feel like no other game has bothered to do with cats.
Yeah, it's good.
In the best ways. Like, it does cat things.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it
You
is...
sad brainwashed bastards.
No, when it's loving with and friendly with its cat friends, it's convincingly so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's some nice little, animations and interactions, and it's just like, it's fun being a cat in this world. It's nice. It's also like, it definitely shifts from being a game where you're kind of just like a cat exploring an environment to like puzzle solving, and you're very smart.
Yeah,
and
like,
people are aware of your intelligence, which is weird.
Why can cat that falls into cyberpunk world read English words on wall?
Yep.
I saw that and I was instantly like, oh, I hate this now.
Yeah, or cat gets gun. Cat gets gun, probably the most controversial part of the game.
No.
Yeah, I do like the cat gun moments in that, minus
right.
the gun part. The running, the speed run, or the running around escape things are fun.
Okay,
But yeah,
right.
it reeks of two things. One, French. We have a story to tell.
Oh, no.
And commentary on the world. Yet at the end, I guess it's up to you. And then also like, hey, we made a really good cat tech demo. Let's figure out how to stuff a game around
What
it.
they really should have done is just let me be in that nature-y world with a bunch of cat friends, do a snuggle, do some playing, and that would have been great. Give me that.
Yeah, I mean, you can still do that.
Okay.
You could just boot it up right at the beginning, have your little cat time, and do some rubbins and scratch the ground.
Why did they have to turn it into a game-ass game, man? I just like being a cute little cat.
Yeah, it's a as a cyberpunk genre fan, it's interesting. I mean, the world's kind of fun, and they could do some interesting creation of that there. It just has some like weird chappy vibes, and then also ends on like a weird note of like, oh, so this, like, it ends very cliffhanger. It ends without a clip. I don't know. The central premise that it throws up, it does not even make an attempt at answering, which is really fucking weird.
Okay. I will come back to it. I mean, I'm in for, cat running on piano.
Yep.
Cat head and brown bag.
Cat head and brown bag is good.
Yeah. And that's what I'm there for. I wish it didn't have the trappings of a mid-tier indie game, like exploration adventure indie game wrapped around it. Because it would have been better if it was just all cat all the time.
I don't know if I'd go that. I mean, to me, that would be like a weird. You could probably find that on itch.io as like being a cat.sim type thing.
Being a cat.sim.xxx?
Yeah, that's published by the other Tor. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be interested to see if you continue to play it, Geoff, and your immediate reaction to like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Jamie, you gonna play it and become a cat lover? Silence.
Jimmy, you gonna play it on PC and mod a dog in?
I'm pretty sure this man is...
No, my mic was freaking out. I want to play it and I want to be a cat lover, but I don't know if I have either of those things in me.
Jamie, this would be,
you know what I mean?
This would be the perfect environment for you to simulate a cat chasing someone's feet and see what they do.
Oh yeah. Yeah, observe the robots and how they interact with the cat to see what you do.
Terrifying experience.
This is so funny.
Terrifying.
Oh man. Is he gonna stop? Am I gonna die? I mean, cat bites can get infected. They're very dangerous.
You're dead.
And I didn't know he was going to stop. I didn't know that he was playing. I thought I was dead meat, man.
He took your toenail clean off.
He was looking for something a bit meatier.
Perfect, Geoff. Thank you so much. I think that wraps things up here, right? We're getting close to our timestamp. A lot happening. It's been a while since we have chatted, so things are going down. There's some stuff on that have happened that are worthwhile talking about. I think I'm going to call dibs on one quick one, which is Digital Extremes through their TennoCon announced that TennoCon development is kind of shifting hands to new leadership within the company, and that being said, the focus of like the old team is now going to their new game called Soulframe, another game that is in the venue of or the vein of Warframe.
Yeah. It looked like the world was significantly different though.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not like wet robots anymore. It's more like mythological, souls with the lights on.
Yeah.
How about that?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't care about Warframe. I think it was important during the previous generation console launch as a free-to-play game that got a lot of traction. I'm curious how Soulframe will fit into the current landscape.
I'm really curious too, and I highly recommend to the both of you, and the reason why I bring this up is Danny O'Dwyer from GameStop and Friends of Giant Bomb type individual. He has his Patreon-based no-clip production platform where he's doing like documentaries on games, and I highly recommend watching the Warframe 2-parter. I think it's about 20 minutes to 30 minutes a piece, and it was illuminating, fascinating to get that kind of, less than an hour background on what the hell was Warframe and who the hell is Digital Extremes and their connection with Epic Games and Unreal Tournament and just like their studio culture and how they operate, and like just the absolute Hail Mary that they had with Warframe. And fascinatingly for me, how closely their model aligns with Genshin Impact.
Ooh.
And how it's possible that they sold the design methodology of how to operate a free-to-play game a la Warframe to a Chinese company that then now spins out products like that. So I am really curious about Soulframe to see if they're going to run their own mechanism or if they're going to try and reignite, or to retake a different path and redesign the free-to-play market, or if they're like, hey, we're going to blaze a new trail.
It is interesting because Warframe is a game that I was aware of. It's always kind of been on the periphery of my mind, but I just never engaged with and never wanted to. Yeah. So that it is interesting to kind of look at those cultures that I've ignored. I'd be curious to check it out.
Check out the documentary. It's very cool.
I'll quickly touch on, just so we can hammer through most of these and just have 5-second takes. The GTA female protagonist rumor and the studio culture overhaul, still don't care. Do not care at all.
Yep.
That series DNA is stupid. I mean, look, I loved GTA 3 and I had a great time with it. I don't see how you walk back from GTA 5 and how horrible the plot of that game was. I don't see that franchise supporting the kind of writing and world engagement that I want. I think it's not interesting in the way that it used to be. Everyone and their mother has an open world game now. Like, I don't know. I mean, look, GTA Online is still doing gangbusters, so clearly they're doing something right, but I am beyond engaging with, honestly, most Rockstar games in general, but this particular franchise holds no appeal for me at this point, and I don't think a female protagonist or intention of more serious writing is going to bring me back.
Totally.
I could be wrong, but we'll see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree 100%.
Also,
do not give a shit.
Yeah.
Happy to hear that they're overhauling studio culture, though.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's honesty behind that. And Totillo's article is, I didn't read it, but I mean, if there's inside sources saying, yeah, it's getting better, then I mean, good. That's
I hope so.
Smidgen of good.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to know, right? How real is it? How much is it a PR stunt? But we'll see. Also, I'll just touch on the Pokemon video presentation. Fido is cute.
Yeah, Pokemon.
Fido is cute. He is moist, but he is cute.
And his yeasty breath.
Also, yeah, yeasty breath. My dog, you should go to a doctor. Also, all the leaks were correct because they came up with the region name before it was released, and the regional form of Wooper is confirmed, and the dog Fido is confirmed. All of it's confirmed. Also, Koraidon with his 4 legs instead of wheels, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. 11 out of 10 cats for the walking motorcycle, yes.
I'm pretty excited about that game. I hope it's really fun.
I am too. It's interesting that they're pitching it as the first true open world Pokemon, which I think will be fascinating to see how that works when
there's no level scaling. Yeah, it's very strange. It's like you can go fight the level 8 gym or like the level 60 gym. Like, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's open world, but only nominally.
Yeah. I went down the Pokemon leaks rabbit hole, so I don't know what's fiction anymore, Geoff, but is it true that you can replay gym battles now, or is that a leak? Is that confirmed?
I don't recall seeing that. I mean, it wouldn't be unheard of. Gym refights have existed in other games.
Okay.
I just know my boy Dunsparce is going to get an evolution. That's all I care about.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah.
I'm interested in I mean, I was definitely interested in it before. I don't really give a shit about their weird
Terrestrialize.
Terrestrialize seems like visually extraordinarily unappealing to me, but in terms of mechanics and how it may overthrow like the metagame, fascinating.
I think it'll have some really interesting metagame effects. People who play competitively are pretty interested in it and what it might do, because it has both offensive and defensive uses, which is cool.
Or you basically change your type.
Yep, you change your type,
mid-battle.
and then you. So, Jamie, you may not know this, but one of the things that Pokemon typing does, so it determines what hits you for super effective. It also makes your own attacks stronger if they match your type. So there's some strategy elements there. And like if you change to one of the types that you already had to begin with, then your attacks are even stronger. So there's a lot going on.
And I think there was some mention of simplification of some of the systems too, like no more HM, TM, or HMs due to your motorcycle thing, covering a lot of those needs.
Yeah, I mean HMs have been out since I think Gen 7 maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
So as someone who liked Arceus and who doesn't know anything about these games, are they putting some Arceus in it?
Well, it's called Monster Pocket because they're small pocketable monsters,
and they're agents of the devil,
and they're exactly
understood.
They're putting a little bit of Arceus in there. The open world elements of it are pretty Arceus-y, but you're not going to be able to throw balls at dudes.
Nope.
Damn. Yeah.
I can do that in real life though.
You can.
Yeah.
So that's how you get them to stop doing drugs. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna definitely incorporate some of the lessons learned there, but it'll still be a Pokemon game. So maybe give it a sec, and we'll let you know if it's something that you might enjoy.
Yeah, if you're not craving a Pokemon game, I don't think it's gonna upend the T-table like Arceus did and give you like that new refreshed Pokemon experience.
Yeah,
I am often craving Pokemon games. It's just that I so often crack them open and it's just not a whole lot has changed. but it sounds like they are making changes. So
somewhat, yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. I did find it interesting that the website said there will be 3 separate plots. Did I send that to you guys?
They did say that in the trailer too, that there's 3 grand, story or whatever, however they framed it. One is the gym battle, one is the treasure seeking thing, and one is probably the
school drama or something.
Yeah, probably like the world story or maybe that's
the evil team or whatever.
Hunt.
Yeah.
I'm all for school drama.
It does have big wizard school vibes,
which is cool. Great. You know what?
This is the first time you're not being kicked out of your parents' house to go play outside with the Pokemons instead.
Did you see the thing on the website that was like, people of any age can enroll in this school?
I did not.
That's what we got. That's what we got. Himbos and bimbos everywhere you look.
Yeah, baby. My Pokemon lust confuses me.
Dude, that guy Arwen or whatever, he's a catch, man.
They all are.
Yeah, that's true. People real sexually confused about that one gym leader.
I think it's hilarious that now it's not like the differentiating quality is not like, oh, you get these couple Pokemon's difference in your version. Now it's like you get a different hotter professor depending on which one you want.
True. Oh my god. That man, he's such a Chad, though. Oh my god,
he is. He's Snapchat filter Chad face all the time, or whatever that one is. He has gig evolved.
Yeah. I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Same.
Pokemon is dead. Long live Pokemon. It's still doing great.
Yeah. Well, perfect. Thanks for cranking through those. I think that's really all we need to talk about this month.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Pleasure as always, gentlemen. We'll keep on doing the good work, fighting the good fight, playing the video games that need to be played, cranking the crank.
Love it.
You have to crank in my stead, boys. I can't crank until 2023 at the earliest.
Oh no!
Doctors say it happens to all guys sometimes.
The crank is very fulfilling.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So, thanks for listening. This has been Boss Bro Radio. I've been Griffin Hoffmann.
I've been Geoff Brewer.
I have been and will continue to be Jamie Sherer.
Powerful.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Bye.
Adios.
Wait.
Well,
the thing we always say every time when we close the show, I almost forgot, is, what do we say?
Monkeypox is a sexually transmitted disease. Oh, no.
Hear that, Noah? Lance wants something a bit meatier.